Hey, Lisa here, and I want to talk about an experience I just had and how this relates to you and your employees or subcontractors, etc. Have you ever been in a situation where you walked away and like an hour later or a day later, you're like, oh, I wish I would have said that? I'm in that all the time. And there's actually a reason why this happens more for some people than with others. And so when I go in and do training in a corporation, one of the things, or even on a board, one of the things that I invariably bring in to the conversation is communication styles, specifically Wiley Disc. And knowing how people communicate really helps the organization be more effective and more efficient. And to give a very brief summary of Wiley Disc, 4 quadrants, but when you're looking at your top quadrant, your D's and your I's, they typically tend to process quicker. They make decisions quicker. When you're looking at your bottom quadrants, S and C's, they will tend to process slower. So what will happen many times in a meeting is that the person leading the meeting is asking for input, asking for ideas. Ideas are flowing, things are flying, everything's great, a couple action steps are made, and away they go. And then an hour, a day, a week later, those people in the S and C range are like, oh, we could do this, or we should do that, or here's a great idea. Only the idea, whatever the project is, already rolling down, it's already moving. And so sometimes those S and C's can feel left behind. They can feel that they had things to contribute, but they weren't really valued because they didn't have the opportunity to contribute. Like, it's a whole thing about how people will feel. Potentially, those people that think quicker and process faster, those D's and I's, they'll feel like the S and C's are disengaged, that they're not really interested, and that's not the case. And so what happens when you do some training around communication styles, you're able to identify, hey, these are the people who are quick processors. These are the people who aren't as quick processors. And here's what we can do to make sure both types of people, both groups are heard. I'm a C. I'm a slow processor. People have already made decisions and moved on to the next item on the agenda, and I still want more data. Like, I am so left behind in meetings often. And for a long time, I felt as if I was stupid or I had nothing of value to bring to the table. And that's not the case. It just means I need more time to think. So as a leader, one of the things that you can do after you identify, hey, these are my people who are quicker processors, these are my people who are slower processors, is put some steps in place to make sure both sides feel heard and valued. For example, just saying in a meeting, oh, so-and-so, do you have something to add? Probably isn't enough, because they still are thinking. They need more time. And so maybe it's, okay, we have an idea, let's make sure we circle back to this. If anyone has any input over the next couple of days, shoot it via email, and then we'll move forward. Like, that's one way to do it. You just need a little extra time in there between the thought process and the decision and the implementation. So I invite you, let me know, have you ever been in that situation where you're like, oh, I wish I could have said this, or I wish I could have said that? And how often does it happen? And what have you done for yourself to make sure that you can be heard in a situation like that, but as a leader of your corporation, your company, your board, your family, we're all leaders in some aspect. What are you doing to make sure that those people who are slower processors actually have the opportunity to contribute in a very valuable and meaningful way? So please post below.